So, the main issue now is we do not know the timetable of Kyrie's return. Okay? Uh, the interim, but now head coach, Jacques Vaughn said, I have no update on timetables at all. So remember, the Nets suspended Irving for at least 5 games. At least. That was up this past Saturday. But when you see him geared up. So it's tough. You also had Joe Tsai put out a tweet that said that he met with Kyrie and his family in person actually. He spent quality time with them and they understand each other, and it's clear to Joe Tsai that Kyrie does not have any beliefs of hate towards Jewish people or any group.
And that's Joe Tsai, the owner, right?
Joe Tsai, the owner. He also met with Adam Silver. Right? That was some positive talks from that. When will Kyrie be back with the Nets? That's one of the main issues that not only Kyrie has an issue with, but other players around the league have an issue with. In particular, they have an issue with this long list of things that Kyrie had to do to get back into to be back on the court, basically. So it's tough, man. But what's your reaction to all this? At least the Kyrie stuff right now.
Man, a lot of drama. This is New York Broadway show right here with the Nets. Seems like every season, or at least the past few seasons now. And this most recent entry with Kyrie and the suspension and all the requirements to get back on the court have been.
Yeah, that's before we move on, I want to make sure you state the actual list, man. The list includes for him to apologize and condemn the movie, a $500,000 donation to anti-hate causes, sensitivity training, anti-Semitic training, meet with ADL, with the ADL, which is the Defamation League, the Jewish leaders, and to meet with Joe Tsai to demonstrate understanding. That whole list. You can go ahead.
Yeah, as you can see, or as you heard, there's a lot of steps to his return, and some of these things make sense. Obviously, apologizing for his actions or lack of action, and I think it just came out of misunderstanding because he wasn't actively being anti-Semitic. He was reluctant to, share his actual insight into what he was posting. And you have to be aware of what you're posting. And that's where he failed to, take action. And now at this point in time, after all the events that have occurred, he's apologized. We saw him donate $500,000 to the Anti-Defamation League, and if I'm remembering this right, they rejected it because he wasn't ready at that time, or whatever they deemed that he still had more training and understanding to do, and now he's serving the suspension that was supposed to be at least 5 games. And I think that the Nets are just, I guess, taking their time to give him a time to come back. So it's just a lot. And I do feel like it's a bit extensive to go through this whole list of things to have my job back after initially what they asked for was an apology. And even though it probably seemed a little bit reluctant to a lot of people, it was an apology, and I feel like there's a lot of extra effort going into him not being on the court right now. And I think that may help the situation to be able to like blow over a little bit more once he does come back. And so it's not like, oh, Kyrie's returned from the melancholy drama that he's caused or whatever, and the Nets organization's dismay. But it's just kind of I don't know, we're optical beings, so we see that he's not there, and we see this big list. So it's like, what's the issue now?
Yeah, I want to like go further about what you were saying. So, the ADL CEO said this about his apology, right? He said, "This is an encouraging step from Kyrie, but actions speak louder than words. Because of his post and previous refusals to walk it back, the anti-Semitic film/book is now a bestseller in multiple categories on Amazon. There is a lot more to do to undo this damage. Although we will not accept any funds from him, if Kyrie is able to direct dialogue to repair the harm that he has caused and to engage in the process of healing and learning in a sincere manner, ADL is open to engaging with him. Time and action will tell." So it seems like he did apologize. But the view of the apology, the perspective, at least stemming from this statement, is saying, oh, you apologize now when you had multiple opportunities to do it before. And because it seems so late now, it doesn't seem as genuine or sincere based on what the ADL is saying, because they just literally said in a sincere manner. So that implies that they think Kyrie's apology isn't sincere or genuine. Clearly. And to be fair, he did issue the apology after the suspension was in place. So perspective and viewpoint, I can see it on both sides. So I can see that. However, he did apologize. He basically said everything that he was supposed to say. If he said these things a while back, this wouldn't be an issue right now.
Yeah, he said it too late.
He said it super late. But the fact is, he did say it, though.
And it's just a lot because, like you said, there's accuracy in both sides of it. Because, should you have posted a link to something that contains, racially prejudice, any type of negative energy that you're putting out, and you just post a link mysteriously? It's like, of course, how are we supposed to interpret what that means? So it seems like you're supporting it because it's good and bad and everything, right? But
yeah, like
a lot of times
some
the
he
general
supported everything in it because it wasn't clarified. That's what the issue was, and people wanted him to clarify his stance.
Exactly.
Although Kyrie, in his own words, believes he did that, it wasn't clear enough for most people. So
he basically left an open-ended, objective view.
Yeah.
And I get why people would be offended, but I also get why he feels like he shouldn't have to explain. But I do think that him being the person who he is, having the influence that he has, it was right for him to apologize. But in the same breath, he did what you asked. Even if it was reluctantly, even if it was after the fact of his punishment, he still did it. And the other big part of this that I think that you also touched on, the movie itself is now famous, basically. It's doing well. Amazon, a lot of people have been talking about this too. Amazon still has the book and the movie available. So what does that say about, this billion-dollar company spreading, and I get it. It's money makes the world go around, but it's like, well, you didn't see them take the thing down. They didn't condemn anti-Semitism and everything. So I get why people are upset about that as well.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's like you cross so many different lines, man, because you got the free speech part of it, and you got just that because of your employment, you're automatically put on this stage in the public, and because of your stature and status in that league and organization, you have an even like higher level pedigree. You have even more access and even more of the platform. So, but all that requires more responsibility. If you're just honestly, if this was like a person who was just on the bench, it would probably still be a similar reaction. Just because it's the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that this is a star in the NBA multiplies it. So
he's a star with baggage.
Yeah, and then the baggage doesn't help. No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
Yeah.
So it's encouraging that Joe Tsai put the tweet out. The Players Association is trying to work with Kyrie. And of course, they condemn anti-Semitism. And that's another way to look at it, because we brought this up the last time too, that Kyrie is actually like on the board with the Players Association, and to make that statement, which is why they had to go out against it. And
yeah,
they have to really work with the Defamation League at this point, I think, because if you do it, and did we talk about Nike?
We didn't, but that's
another scenario in this too. Nike suspended its relationship with Irving and canceled the plans to release his signature shoe. However, I do want to note the fact that a while back, Kyrie was talking about the shoe in a bad way. He was like, I had no input on this shoe. My people know what my shoes should be like, and you're basically speaking bad about your own company, your partnership. So that doesn't look good either. But either way, this whole situation has caused a huge fallout.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's doing things he's supposed to do. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe just wait for it to die down. Outside, out of mind. But it's hard to do that when one of the teams is the Nets, which is an actual, a team that a lot of fans watch and think they're supposed to compete because they're the Nets and because they had KD and Kyrie Irving, they have a certain number of national televised games. Each national televised game they're going to talk about the Kyrie situation. So it's like,
it's a box office team. They have two of the biggest stars, and also just a lot of a lot of outside noise that's gone into their careers. So they're of course just always on that microscope, always on TV, always in the media. And even when they're losing, even if it's outside of basketball, they have so much going on. So much. And it only just magnifies everything. So I hope that I'm also happy that, at the least bit, Kyrie seems to be getting an understanding of why his actions were not the best in his situation, and that he also is, seeming to get the understanding and having the communication with Joe Tsai, with leaders of the NBA, the Players Association, and other people seem to be, coming to his, not his defense, but to his aid to help him, get through this time of suspension with everything. But I don't know, how this is going to look, the rest of this week or in the next couple of weeks. But it's just me personally. It seems to me that he's doing like you said, doing the right things. He's in communication, and at this point, it just comes down to working it out with the Anti-Defamation League. Because it seems like all the other parties that are included with the Nets, the NBA, the NBPA, sorry. Seems like everyone's on the green for Kyrie, but you know, we'll see how it develops.
Yeah, we'll see. And we'll see the reaction whenever he does come back. What's that going to be like?
We'll hear about it like loudly. We'll hear about it.
Yeah, I'm sure we will.